Hello, welcome to the program Big Talk on Global TV. My name is Topsy Gameboy, your host. Big Talk, it's a program that comes 7 days in a week, that is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way to Sunday, where we look into issues and discuss them. The program, it's so delighted that it gives us that opportunity to invite personality to be with us in the studio where they help to analyze issues that are quite very important. Indeed, you'll be surprised that indeed the former chairman, the immediate past chairman of INEC, in the person of Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, who had served this country very, very well from 2015 when he was appointed, served for 5 years and then wanted to leave. He was reappointed again from 2015 to where we are today, making solid 10 years in office. That indeed has created a lot of noise around the media world, where he put up resignation yesterday, where he will be going for compulsory leave until he leaves office permanently in November. Of course, that has been quite very cheering news, and we understand that indeed one of the senior officers in the Office of Independent National Electoral Commission has been appointed to act in the person of Barrister Ogumuche, May Ogumuche, who will be doing that until either she is made one or a new one is appointed. But of course, we have been reading on the newspapers and other outlets that indeed President is making preparation, whether it is true or not. One renowned Nigerian senior advocate in Nigeria, the person of Joas Amupitan, who is likely to take over. But that's just by the way on the rumors. We meet in the studio this evening to discuss the exit of Professor Mahmoud Yakubu as INEC chairman, and what we should be expecting in Nigeria is a very good friend of ours in the person of Godson Ogwuechuba. It's a pleasure having you in the program this evening.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Yes. I'm sure you are just coming in for the first time in this place.
Yes, this is my first time in this studio.
Yes.
And I'm grateful to be here.
Thank you so very much. You've been following the activities of INEC for quite some time. I believe you have been participating in the election, not just the one that Yakubu became the chairman.
Of course.
You've been there for a while.
Of course.
So what can you really say with the way things have been to where we are today?
I can say a lot of things about Professor Yakubu Mahmoud. He has been a great citizen and has proven his office by conducting several elections which are successful in different states, and also the election of 2023, which we saw a great innovation that he brought into the system. We talk about the beavers that he brought into the system. We talk about the RF that he brought into the system. These initiatives help the electoral processes become more easier in Nigeria, and we saw that technology for the first time in history of our electioneering. So I commend him for such a job nicely done by him. So he's someone, someone of his personality is meant to be commended, and his tenure during the past 5 years, if he didn't do well, he wouldn't be re-elected or reappointed. Yes, to serve. So I commend him for the job well done.
If you see Professor Mahmoud, if you follow his track records in the world of the academy, you will know that this man had actually made a lot of impact at the national level. This is a man that was born in 1962, I think, in Bauchi State, started a primary school still in Bauchi, went to the university and graduated in the Department of History and made the first class, the first Northern Nigeria to come up with that excellent result in history. And then, went to study in other countries, particularly in Europe, to obtain his master's and PhD. And eventually, he came to Nigerian Defense Academy, which is now a university, to lecture there, and eventually became the dean of the Faculty of Arts and Science, Faculty of Arts, so to speak, in that Defense University. So you can imagine that man. And I think I have had the opportunity of knowing him because I cover INEC for a very long time.
Okay.
And I often see him, I thought he would not know me. But I remember when journalists were seated in the conference room,
He was able to
call my name.
Okay.
I was completely taken aback with that kind of person, really.
Yes, Joyce.
I thought he didn't know me in the first place.
Right.
But for the fact that he called my name with that staggering, I knew that this is an academia.
Wow.
Yeah. So looking at the way he came to take over INEC in 2015,
Yes.
and then the way he conducted 2015 election, and the government felt it was important to reassign him for another set of 5 years.
Yes.
Now he has actually served for another 5 years, making 10, and now he's exiting.
Yes.
You agree with me that a lot really happened when he was there as INEC chairman?
Yes, a lot happened, which are positive impacts. I believe if you are able to describe his trajectory, in the educational system, and also we are able to, talk about him positively. I believe there are so many people who have been close to him that we also speak the same. You understand? Knowing who he is in person, you understand? You can able to explain more about him, talk more about him when his name is mentioned. And I, being also in the system, know that by the time he was appointed, there are so many changes in our electoral system, and which I believe that helped the country and brought us where we are today. So he's a man to be commended. I say that again.
Yes, but if talking about technological introduction he brought forth into INEC, things like BVAS, bimodal accreditation system or so.
Yes.
To what extent can you say this one really helped in getting what we should get when it comes to electionary period like the one Nigeria hopes to get into it in 2027?
Yes, I can say we went a long way in getting what we were supposed to get. Even though maybe people criticize 2023 election in different way, having several opinions, but to me, or for me, it was an advancement for Nigeria, you understand? Because such thing has not happened in our country. And there is always, when introducing a new system, there is always, what will I call it? Maybe there is always, that gap for corrections.
Oh, yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
You understand? So you make that space for correction, because that's the first time we are trying such system. We are using such technology for our electioneering processes.
Yeah.
So I see it as as an advancement, and also see it as for us to make that space for correction. The things that we didn't do well in 2023 election, we will have that time, we will have that capacity to look into it and look at the functionality of those things and see where we made mistake and see where we make corrections. So it is a very big achievement to Nigeria.
Yes.
Yes, I see it as a progress. I see it as an advancement.
But did it work?
It worked. You know why? It worked because I was there, and I followed.
How many elections have you participated in your life?
In several elections. Several. So I was there. I witnessed the accreditations. I witnessed the registrations. I witnessed the uploading of results, and so many of them. Even though sometimes people complain that there was network glitch or network issues, these are things that there was not that opportunity for it to be tested.
Were these results uploaded at all into the server in 2023?
Of course, results were uploaded.
After manual collation.
Yes.
But it wasn't as if they were reading from the server saying either Godson has won 10% in this, 10 votes in this unit. It wasn't like that, I believe. But it was after the manual collation before they uploaded it into the system.
Yes, it was like that, because they collected the manual. They collected the manual, then recorded it into the system and uploaded.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So it's a nice way. It's a very perfect way of bringing up results before the RECs will bring their own result to the.
Were you opportune in your lifetime to have participated where they were using manual to vote?
Of course, I have.
Which year? How many elections in the first place? How many elections have you actually participated? Aside from the ones that Professor Mahmoud organized.
I was there when Jega was there. I participated when Jega was there.
Was it your first time?
I think that was my second time.
Which one was it? Well, okay, which means you participated in Jonathan's?
Yes, in Jonathan's regime, I was there then. I participated also when
Obasanjo?
Yes, Obasanjo was there. I participated. So I've been there and I've witnessed.
Was it like you were just standing afar and watch, or you really participated?
I really participated.
So what
not
did you,
as much as.
But casting your vote, I mean.
Yes,
I did.
Yes.
So what will you say? What you did during Obasanjo and Jonathan's period until until this Professor Mahmoud Yakubu came on board to introduce this technology into the system of electionary processes of Nigeria?
What I will say is that
I just want you to make a very simple comparison whether what we are going through these days is actually far better than what we had in the past, where you participated using manual and stand on the queue without voting, without carrying your face or finger for anything to show that indeed you are using a machine.
Mahmoud brought a transformation into the electioneering process.
Yes.
So you cannot compare. Yes, you cannot compare that manual process with this automated process. So it made a lot of things easier. I am telling you, I'm a witness. It made a lot of things easier. It made accreditation easier. It made even before we hear of something of all those time taking, time exhausted, people stressing to come and vote and queuing up and all those things. But
you were here in Abuja when people were struggling to vote in some parts of Abuja, even into the next day. The last election that brought about President Tinubu as he is in 2023.
Yes.
Like in Abuja, for instance, there were so many polling units and words that didn't turn in their result. They were using torchlight.
Yes.
Into the night till the next day, as a matter of fact.
Yes. Of course, that could be.
Has it ever happened like that in the history of this country where people will be voting? Meanwhile, new machines or new ideas have been introduced into the system. Why that delay?
That's what I'm trying to explain to you, that this is a new introduction or a new kind of pattern that has been introduced into our system of electoral processes. Then there was no time. There is not something that you test run, you understand, before the election day. You can do that, but it's private, you understand, to see if it actually works. But not to compare to the number of persons. 2023 election was there was a kind of a wake-up call. So the way we were doing it before, things changed. And there were so many other people, youths, that wake up, to say we will participate in this electioneering process. So that made it look like somehow complicated, like there were more number of people.
As if you are saying, INEC wasn't prepared. Is that what you're saying?
It's not.
If more people could come, and then it would create, glitches or either some kind of delay in the system, could that have meant that the commission wasn't prepared?
And the glitches that was created, or maybe the delay that was created, was not only to be maybe caused by the new technology. No, it may be caused by delay of getting the election materials. You understand? Then for some remote areas, I believe that transportation may be one of the problems. Before the staffs of INEC could get to the place, I think all those things could bring to such a delay. When we get to people voting till night, you understand that, using torch and all those things. So there are so many things involved when you talk about that delay and the things that happened in 2023 election. There are so many things.
So in a way, because I asked you this question initially for it to make an emphatic analysis, looking at how it was when you voted during Obasanjo or either Jonathan. Johnson in the first time. Then the second time, the card readers were introduced. With the way that BVAS, that bimodal voter accreditation system, that's BVAS. That
I'm coming to that.
And then the real time, when we say real time, it's not like you receive an alert where somebody pays in some kind of money into your bank. As soon as the money enters, you get an alert immediately. That's what real time is.
Exactly.
If somebody tells you that he's going to do real time transmission of result, and then at the end he struggles to tell you something different, will you say that person has done something good?
Yes, he has done something good by bringing in the technology. So where we have problem is the transmission of those results, and there are so many other things that can cause the delay of transmission of result. One is the network providers, you understand. Then, the question you asked me earlier about the analysis of how
at the time you participated.
And the time
and then the way
that time
is now.
People can come around from anywhere and come and vote. But this time, BVAS brought a game-changing effect to our electioneering process, which means that without being accredited, you cannot vote. You understand? Then there is this number of people in every polling unit, which is inside the BVAS. So your name must be there. Your name must appear before you can vote. So it changed a lot of things. It makes things, follow up in one direction that we are getting to. And what I'm telling you is that the criticism about uploading results, there are so many factors which I am sure that INEC have taken time to look into that and make sure that won't happen again. I am very sure of that.
I don't want to preempt whether it will not repeat itself. Because there's one thing to listen to the way the speeches they made when BVAS were being introduced. And another for you to see the failure we notice at the time of collation and the announcement.
It's technological.
That's just where the fear is today in most Nigerians. And so if it does occur, or if it happens like the way it happened when Jega was in office, so much money. You are not even considering the money, federal government injected into the system in purchasing some of these technologies that were supposed to be used, to bring out an effective or determined result of the election. And then only at the end of the day, the results, they came out with some kind of controversy around it. Or around them.
Yes, there is no amount of money that can be compared to the value of what we expected. You understand? Because we trade for value. You understand? So if it can give us the value we wanted and bring transformation to our electioneering processes, is equal to, the money spent on it is worth it. You understand? Yes, it's worth it. If you can get that value, that means the money is worth it. You understand?
Did we get the value at all?
We got the value.
So why did people go to court at the end of the day? Because the intention behind the introduction of these technologies, the intention behind was to ensure that we eliminate controversies surrounding election we've been experiencing over time, where people went to court to say overvoting, underage, that kind of, those issues used to be there. They were there before. And the thinkers felt for them to get the best out of it, let them approach, National Assembly to amend the Constitution so that at the end of the day, electoral acts to be amended so that we get the result we thought we would get. But at the end of the day, whether it was satisfactory for us, where those results that were turned out for us to see, like the one we saw at the International Conference Center on the day President Tinubu was announced. So will you now say it is justifiable enough?
It is justifiable
enough. Because money. If you spend money so that you will be healed, only for you to still fall back to the same kind of illness, almost consuming your life.
You know, where people had a lot of problems criticizing the 2023 elections was on the side of the president. I'm not.
That's a crucial election.
Yes, it's a crucial election.
We'll be talking about how member House of Reps.
Yes, I didn't see them complain.
Presidential election, you will be more particular about in the first place.
About other elections, but particularly on the side of the president. So, what I'm saying is that the BVAS and the IREV technology that was brought into the system created a transformation. And it helped eliminate a lot of things, just like you said,
going to court,
court and all those things. It eliminated a lot of things and is bringing an advancement. You understand? So there are so many other things that will be corrected along the line. Like for me, I've been a machine operator for years.
You say you have been?
Yes, I operate machines.
Okay.
So yes, I operate machines. So what I'm saying,
like this laptop, right?
Yes, if you're a machine operator, there are times when machine develops problems. Then you troubleshoot. You understand? At those moments, you cannot say the machine don't work. You understand? So at those time, it is learning and relearning and unlearning and doing so many other things that will still make the machine give you the value that you bought it for.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So that is exactly what happened. There were no time to test run it like that. But at least now, if it happens again, we can now refer to 2023 election that this is what happened. Why allowing it to happen? Is wanting to correct, and when you correct things that happens, when you correct things and it happens again, it becomes a way of life. You understand? But at that time of correction, you need to give cap for correction. You understand?
Yeah.
So when you dictate such thing, even sometimes in all these technologies, they can build a phone and later retrieve it back. You understand? Seeing there is even cars. So there is a problem they found out. So they have to retrieve it back and correct it. You cannot say that it doesn't work.
But Godson, look at the scenario here. Yes. At the time when these BVAS or some of these technologies were about to be introduced, at the end of the day, were even introduced, they received the procurement of those equipment.
Yes.
INEC constantly went around the most parts of the country, creating awareness that a magic formula has been created in INEC, where it will eliminate all doubts in our electionary system. That was what they were saying.
Of course.
They were telling us. One of the national commissioners and chairman voter education in the person of Barrister Festus Okoye was a spokesperson then before he retired, under the immediate past chairman of INEC.
Yes.
Festus was this person that went around organizing media tour, telling people that they should come out. There is a way now that even old people, I remember I went around to check the registration of the election here in the FCT, and I went to Area 10 FCT office, INEC. Okay. I met an old woman at the age of 90. She was being helped by her grandchildren to come and register. And I asked her, she said for the fact that a new system has been introduced into election, she has to come out to register so that she will participate in her lifetime before she.
That's the awakening I told.
Now, so at the end of the day, wouldn't you feel that the woman will feel so slighted or disappointed that at the end of the day, they were carrying papers and looking and asking the returning officer, professors, vice chancellors for that matter, of Citadel of Learning in the country, telling them, was there any over voting or either under voting? Did you see underage? When the machine that had already been used in collecting registration of people in a particular unit, when they will be talking about voting? Because the machine was there in my unit and said 20 people registered. You can only have, if you have 20 people registered, you might not get 21.
Yeah, exactly.
You can only have 19 or 18 coming to vote.
Yes.
But when you have 21 in the machine that you have actually done registration, and then something is wrong fundamentally. Now, the question I would have asked you is, if he knew that the machines were faulty, why he didn't take them to court? Because it's a national calamity.
Yes. Anyway,
did he take them to court?
Okay, now
those glitches you make reference to, that if you use the machine, you should know that it cannot give you 100% result. Or if you try that the way they tried it, and they will repeat it in 2027, if it does occur like the way it occurred in 2023, and then something is wrong. Then did he make effort to take those companies that supply either the Beavers machines or either the real-time machines to court to tell them that indeed something fundamentally went wrong with the system they provided for Nigerians? Or for Nigeria as a country?
Okay, from my own point of view, what I will say is that if I make order of this laptop as a machine I want to use for something, and maybe I made order for, let's just take 10 laptops, and 7 out of 10 gave me the results we actually, or gave me the value I actually paid for, then the other 3 will not be a problem to me. What I will do is that I will complain about the 3, but at least I've gotten to an extent the value of the resources I deposited for the machines. So if that is the problem, like I told you before, there are so many things that are involved in that case. 1, the network providers, you understand. Then 2, the machines, and there are other irregularities, you understand, that can happen during voting, after voting, and so many other things, you understand. So, but when you talk about the machine, if I get at least 70% of the value I want, the company tried, I have to give them credit. Then the other 30 will know what to do about it. So that's what I have to say about it.
I
don't really know whether he took them to court or whatever he did. For me, this is my own analysis.
I agree with you. I'm not at all against what you're saying, but I'm only trying to see how best it could be managed, because this is a process that we are doing to hand over even to our children.
Exactly.
Those children who have not even seen them are likely to come and introduce new things into that, so that nobody comes and says anything different. That is exactly what we're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
We have just we are just at the middle of another round of elections that are coming up in 2027, and we are likely to repeat or recycle some of those things the immediate past chairman used in 2023. And I wouldn't want us to be sitting down again. I will call you to be interviewing you, and they will start lamenting, the top C. This thing we talked about sometime. Which year was it?
I believe that such complaint will not come up again. That's my belief, personally. Because if you look at the personality of the man that we are talking about, after that 2023 election, some other elections were conducted. You understand? Such as Imo, Edo, and several others. You understand? And I think we had a successful election.
That's off-cycle election.
We had successful election with the same materials that we are talking about. So you see that a lot of corrections and a lot of realignment and so many other things have been made. So I think if approaching 2027, things will be as they were that time.
Okay.
Yes, I think there will be an advancement and also progress.
So if you are asked to, if you are assuming you were standing in the classroom teaching students, and they ask you to talk about the good and the bad of Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, what will you tell them? Give him a score.
Okay, I'll give him for being a human being. I'll give him
like me and you.
Yes, like me and you. I'll give him 80 over 100.
In the entire conduct of the election,
I'll give him 80 over 100.
You give him 80 over 100.
Yes, I'll give him 80 over 100.
So advise him or any other person you might be thinking of getting going forward in subsequent election.
Okay,
because you have given him 80.
Yes.
You must have that which that didn't make him to be 100%.
Yes.
So what are those things that he did not make that made him to be only at 80? Though 80 is an excellent result.
Yes, it is. Now, as human
beings, you should have done this, you should have done this.
Yes, as human beings, we are not perfect, but we are always working to perfection. You understand? That's why I told you earlier that we need to create a space for corrections. You know, so my advice to the incoming,
not just incoming, to him, the machines that he brought or the new things he introduced into the system, that you scored him 80, which I said 80 is a very good result.
Yes.
But why he didn't make 100?
Okay, like the glitches that we are talking about, you know, when providing machines like that will work with network, you understand, you need to be sure of your network providers. You need to be sure of people that will handle the machines. You need to be sure of the kind of trainings that you give out to your staffs. You understand? So you need to be at the top of your game in such a critical time to see that you deliver 100%. You understand? So if maybe peradventure that little mistakes are found, there is always also a place of correction. You understand? So those are the things I see that we need to upgrade, like training, giving a better trainings, you know, bringing in better people to handle all those. Then see if we can upgrade our network connections in such cases. You know, because those things they need network to be transmitted. So when the network fails, it will look as if that the machine had failed. You understand? So in these things, if like an outgoing chairman, he considers these things, and by handing over to the next appointee, you know, he reviews these things. Look at what happened. Look at what happened. Look at where you focus. Look at what where you focus. So all these things will help us to get to that 100%.
Okay.
If tackled or something like that.
Okay.
Exactly.
What about the use of professors, of even not just professors, but vice chancellors of Nigerian universities, where they were made to be returning officers?
Yes.
Returning officer, and they were using professors, vice chancellor to be precise, to states to collate the results, and then they will now bring those results, like the way they brought to International Conference Center here in Abuja for the number one person in INEC, in the person of Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, to announce about who won in that state.
Yes.
So going forward, with the kind of challenges we experience, because some professors were staggering, like the last election, one of the elections I saw in Adamawa State, the returning officer was staggering to announce result. To an extent, somebody who ought not to have been was used to announce the result. The Nigerians began to speculate whether or not money exchanged hands in that process. So has it helped us? Because the use of the professors, not just professors, vice chancellors of Nigerian universities, so that we get result. You know, it's so easy to rise up from ordinary lecturer until you become a vice chancellor of a university.
Yes.
It's not an easy task.
It's not an easy
So
task.
that person is wisdom itself. So for you to be given that assignment and you're coming to be announcing something staggering to tell us figures, you know, this and that, like the way most of them did, will you say we should continue to use them?
I think the professors are most credible, you know, individuals for such task. But you see, everybody is not the same. There are some people with excellence. There are some that are
ordinary
not.
pass.
You understand? So in discharging such a duty to such level, you understand, the professors have been seen as the most credible individuals to use in such cases, you understand. So I believe before giving them such duties to perform, there should be a kind of scrutiny, you understand, to see their personality, their credibility, and all that, so that they will now know that the person that you're giving this work, is he able to discharge, you understand, so that we will not see such scenario again. So I believe giving them to the professors is the best, and also let us put a check to the personalities to know also if they are able to discharge their duty.
What about the use of NYC as ad hoc staff?
NYC, they are the best, because INEC, during that time there is need for staffs. There is need for manpower. You understand, and you cannot just employ a lot of people, on a payroll for just that to happen in 4 years, and it happens once, and maybe any other off cycle. So I think the corpers fit into that duty post, because it's something that they will just do. After that, they will pay them off for it. So, but when you go and employ somebody, and place him in that kind of position, I think it will not be okay for such person. INEC has their own staff, so these ad hoc staffs and maybe any other is good for the corpers.
You've been watching South Africa countries, or even outside Africa, how elections are being conducted.
Yes.
The use of uniformed men,
yes.
Security that will overpower even the voters. There are many in their numbers, far more than those who are, sometimes far more than the number of people casting their vote, particularly when it comes to off-cycle election. Like if they are doing it maybe in Kaduna, the governorship election in Kaduna, considering it to be like off-cycle, you will now see federal government will announce 30,000 police, 150 soldiers, and then the undercover like the DSS, civil defense, and other security agencies like that. When you put all these numbers together, as if they are far more than the number of people who are going to participate in the election, what does it tell your psyche?
When it comes to security, that's a very critical issue. You understand? The security agencies know why they do what they do. You understand? So I'm not into that.
No, I'm only trying to, you as a voter,
yes.
Don't you get afraid when you see them?
Okay, as
if it's a war zone thing.
If I have nothing in mind, maybe if I have only in mind to come and cast my vote and make my way, you understand? I shouldn't be afraid of security men or any security agency.
But if they were taking off the entire thing, can't we do it right? Because we have elections that are coming up very soon. Make a very candid observation on this.
So many things happen on election day. You understand? So I believe they know why they do what they do. So, and to individuals coming to vote or to citizens coming to vote, you shouldn't be afraid of any security agent. No, even though there are many or their numbers are too many or something like that, I believe I should come there, cast my vote, and make my way. You understand? So I shouldn't be afraid of any security agent or any whatever that is coming to secure the place or something like that. I shouldn't be afraid of that. Yes.
So advise government, now that Professor Mahmoud Jega is no longer there, an appointment has been made as acting capacity the person of May Agbamuche Mbu, who is a legal luminary, who knows much about the legal intrigues of this country, to be acting until a substantive person is appointed. Exactly. Only God knows whether she or some other person will come on board. Exactly. But of course, if you check the dailies today, you'll be seeing names. One particular name constantly being mentioned.
Yes.
It's likely going to be the successor of Professor Mahmoud Yakubu in the person of Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Joas Amupitan from Kogi State,
Exactly.
from the Yoruba extraction, so to speak. What will we be expecting if he comes aboard?
Okay, I think that's, to me, or for me, that is still a rumor. Until
There are many, yes, just still a rumor.
Yes.
But of course there must be an appointment.
There must be an appointment. So I expect that such person, when he comes to the office, he will learn from the immediate past chairman, and also make out time to upgrade and also improve on the things that has been done, that has already been done by the immediate past chairman. So I expect several things from me, because if you look at what is happening in the world today, you know, we are getting into the era of AI, you understand? So apart from the technology that Professor Mahmoud have introduced to us, I will like the person that will be appointed to also take advantage of AI, you understand, to improve what is already on ground. Because AI works in virtually every sector. So they use it to do so many things. And secondly, I will also want him to build a support system for candidates, you know, because if you look at some cases of some election cases, you know, you see that it is very difficult for some candidates to get support from INEC during their court cases, maybe providing them with results and some other things that happened during that electioneering processes. So it is sometimes they complain that it's difficult for them to get. So I would like the incoming person to build a transparent, you know, to build a transparency that people can trust, that even if they want to get documents of past election, for them to report, you know, or use it for their court cases, that it should be given to them. So that is very crucial, because if you watch some governorship elections, some, you know, local government, all those things, it's a big complaint. Sometimes people will come out and make statement that INEC is not giving them the documents that they are requiring from them, because they are the one that have all the documents for every election, you understand? So I want them to build such support system that will be available for candidates to get every document concerning their elections if they have court cases to prove. So that's what I would like them to do. Yes, these things are what
you were talking about use of AI. That has a lot of impact in society.
Yes.
Does AI help in providing accurate result?
You know, that AI is artificial intelligence.
Yes.
So it can do so many things depending on what you want it to do. So there are so many problems that we discussed here right now that, you know,
in a country like Nigeria,
yes, we can actually get an AI that will, you know, solve those problems for us.
Okay.
Yes, because it depends.
Where real time could not work in 2023, AI will work in 2027.
No, what I'm saying is, it is an upgrade to what is already on ground.
An upgrade means improving on
what you already
existing
have. Yes.
System.
So
and if an existing system would malfunction, then you are now putting another burden to our own malfunction.
It can never be another burden. Rather, it will be a solution providing application that will help sort out some things, because they know exactly what happened. So they know where, the problem lies. Most citizens may not know, but them, they know, because they know everything concerning those materials. So if there are ones that AI can be able to solve, then we introduce AI. I see it as we can take advantage of whatsoever that has come up in the world today to get to where we want to get to. So that is my opinion.
Okay, what will you say with electronic voting, where even people at in diaspora can participate in Nigeria's election, like the way it is done in developed climes like America, for instance? If America would have a national election like the way they did some few months ago, people who were in Nigeria, Americans that were in Nigeria, voted, and it was done very seamlessly, that it came out to be very, very accurate. Can we do that? That's another area that I wanted to thank God you remembered it. Yeah. So now these things are done by technology, you understand, so that you can be where you are and do what you are expected to do, requiring not your presence, you understand. So what I'm saying is that these things are what the present or incoming appointee will look at and know how to handle it. Now recently, I think where they announced contactless passports, you understand. That means you can be anywhere and do anything on your passport and get it. So it can equally be introduced into our electioneering process, so that people in diaspora can participate in the election through these technologies, because you can do it without your presence. Yes. So that's the need for upgrade in our technical systems, you understand. That's why I mentioned AI, because there is nothing it cannot do except you didn't give it to it. Yes. So once you wired such AI to do that, it will do it. So that is my opinion. There is this this opinion that people are really suggesting that you can equally use campaign electronically. I think I remember that's a country that's called Estonia. Estonia is a country very close to Russia. It has a very few number of people as a population. Very few, but they are technologically savvy than the entire African continent, not just countries, a continent, a country with less than not up to 1 million or no more than 1.5 million people as a country. But the technology they use is far more than the Africa as a continent is using in terms of technology. To an extent, they don't even go out to campaign; they campaign electronically, and they vote electronically. You just sit down and they announce the result electronically without even seeing the candidate. Wow. Yes. When are we going to be seen to be doing this going forward in this country? Like we said, let's just manage to see how best people who are not in this country, but they have the interest to vote. Okay. I think. And then you now come to imagine Nigeria, that is the power supply very epileptic, and the network fluctuates. Like you said, maybe it could have been one of the reasons that brought about the complaints in Nigeria and maybe or the controversy around the election that was conducted in 2023. Yes. Because so many things brought about the failure that made Nigeria to make a lot of noise. Till today, they're still making this noise. That indeed it wasn't quite good looking at the way it was handled. Okay, in that case, Nigeria is still a developing country. You understand? And we want to see us to get to that level that you just mentioned, where everything will be done electronically. Yes, and done electronically, and it will bring the result we expected. You understand? So there are so many advancements now that we are making. We don't really know what the person that is coming in to replace the INEC chairman is coming with.
So until he comes, then his ideas will flow into the system. You understand? And with such discussion that we are having here, and some other discussions that are happening so many other places, I think there will be an upgrade. So there certainly will be an upgrade. Yes, that
will be efficient than the way.
Than what we saw in 2023. Exactly.
Okay. Now, if you are to advise Nigerians, because you'll be hearing voices running helter-skelter, non-directional, criticizing the system, even though it could turn out to be good. Nobody like me, I wouldn't know whether or not what we saw in 2023 can be said to be near perfect. I wouldn't know. But again, noise that we received either from the media or individuals, groups that you can see talking about the election that was conducted in 2023, feel a little bit disenchanted on the way it was handled. The advise Nigerians, the way you see them, the way they behave when issues like that come up, you see them criticizing, even though something good must have really happened. Like you scored him 80. But most people don't even see it. That 80 to them is a failure completely.
Of course.
So how will you advise us?
Now, my advice to Nigerians is, when it comes to election, we are always, sometimes, I will not generalize it, but people have other people's or candidates in mind. You understand? They have people they want them to be in that seat. So, and that informs 90% of their
thinking,
their reasoning. You understand?
Because this is the person I wanted, so he didn't get it.
This is the person I wanted, and because he didn't get it,
therefore
every other thing is nonsensical. You understand?
I do.
So the thing is that we are still developing in our emotion. To me, I want a leader and not a particular person. So if eventually I voted for some person that maybe this is my candidate and I voted, and maybe at the end of the day the person didn't get to the seat to be the person in charge, then the person in charge, I will assess him through his leadership processes and things he were able to do. Then if he can be able to stand in the gap and provide things that we need, he's a leader. I have to give him my support. That is my own. That is for me. You understand? So, but when you bring in emotions and several other things into politics, it doesn't go well, because there are times the person you voted is not the person in charge, and people develop all kinds of things in them, and
bad sentiment.
Yes, and they start cursing. There is nothing you do that people will not criticize. You understand? So in that kind of thing, we need to educate our senses. We need to educate our personalities. We need to educate how we act when it comes to political matters. We need to educate ourselves on how we present our country before other countries. We need to guide ourselves in these things, because what you want may not be what I want, but we have a particular interest for Nigeria to be good, for Nigeria to be great, for Nigeria to get us to where we are going to, for us to have all those amenities, social amenities, and infrastructures, and so many things, that economy becomes good. That is the one interest that we have as citizens of this nation. Okay. You understand? Yes. So we have to build on that interest to making Nigeria great. Yeah. Whether it is a Yoruba man, whether it is an Igbo man, whether it is Hausa man, let us build on that one particular interest to make our country great again by contributing to the nation building.
Wow. I really enjoyed you, Godson.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, I must confess. I thank you for taking time to be with us on this program, Big Talk.
Thank you.
Well, viewers, wherever you might be around the world, within or around the world, we enjoyed you for being part of this show. You listened to my guest, the way he analyzed issues, the exit of Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. What next? He put in the way you really understand that we need to put ourselves together as a country to ensure that good things come to us, despite the fact that we notice failures. Well, I thank you so much for being part of this program. My name is Topsy Gemba. We shall be doing it again tomorrow with yet another personality. Do have a very lovely time and stay out of trouble. News comes your way at 8. Stay tuned.